thank you for the introduction, and also thank the Blavatnik Foundation for this great opportunity for me to share my research here. And today I'm going to talk about how we can harvest energy from just a cup of water. So definitely we cannot create any energy, but energy has been everywhere with us. For example, like Professor Cui said, we can now access to many energy sources from nature, for example, solar cell, solar energy, wind power, and hydropower. But there is one energy source we never use, evaporation. So what's evaporation? For example, if we have a cup of water and we put it on the table, a week later when we come back, the water will disappear. Actually, the energy that takes this water away is called evaporation energy. Many of you may think this process is super slow. It cannot contain lots of energy. But actually, it's not. Evaporation is the driving force behind the rain, wind, and even the waves on the ocean. So in nature, many plants use evaporation. For example, trees use evaporation to pump the water from the soil to their leaves that sometimes 100 meters above the ground. It's not easy for us to do it, right? Another example is pine cone. Pine cone can sense humidity level. For example, when pine cone leave the trees, the humidity will go down. The pine cone can open like this, right, and release their seed. But this process is a little bit slow. It may take about 4 days. So we have a question. Is it possible for us to use evaporation to do something? For example, lift some heavy weight, drive the engine of a car, or perhaps generate some electricity. But the question is how? So we have recently developed two engines that can directly convert evaporation to mechanical motions. So the first one is oscillatory engine. So this is the engine itself. And it doesn't work right now. After we pour water under the engine, so it can be any kind of water, can be dirty water, seawater, doesn't matter. The engine will start automatically. And the moving part inside the engine will keep doing this oscillating work until water dries out. Actually, I have the device is right here. It's like a toy. It's very simple. And it's a little bit fragile, but we have another kind of engine, a rotary engine. So for example, this engine, the left part contains water, right? After we assemble these wheels inside the chamber, the wheel will start to rotate. And this wheel will continuously rotate until the water dries out. I know this structure may remind you some weird stuff, right? So I want to show you a movie here. Can you please?
We have to get them back to school.
I'm with you, Marge. Lisa, get in here. In this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
Yeah, this is Simpson's perpetual motion, right? But actually, our engine is not one of them. Evaporation provides the power to drive our engine. So let me briefly talk about how we can do this. Typically, if we want to convert one energy form to another, we need some medium materials. And for example, our human muscle convert chemical energy to mechanical motion. Piezo ceramics convert mechanical to electricity, right? But for this kind of evaporation energy harvesting, what kind of material we need? So we need something can sense the chemical potential of water. So the bacterial spore is the material we are using right now. So I know when I say bacterial spore, many of you may be scared. Is that dangerous? Actually, it is not. The bacterial spores we are using, they are everywhere in the soil. They are harmless. They are super safe. You probably already had it in this morning if you had yogurt. And they are very tiny. They are small. So they are in microscope. You can see the length here is about 1 micrometer. They're tiny. And they can survive. They are dormant cells that can survive 4 million years. Also, they can respond to humidity level. When the environment is humid, they can absorb water and expand. When the environment is dry, they can release water and contract. We also found that bacterial spore is really rigid. What does it mean? Right? Work is force times travel distance. That means during this hydration and dehydration cycle, spore can release lots of mechanical energy. So we did a simple test. So we deposit a monolayer of spore on a latex rubber sheet. When we alternate humidity level, the latex rubber sheet can bend like this. So this experiment tells us the spore is super powerful because the thickness of the spore layer is about 1,000 times thinner than the latex rubber sheet. So it's pretty good. We want to further study them. But the spore is so tiny, and we use atomic force microscope to study. So what's the atomic force microscope? It's like our finger, right? Can sense the topography and the stiffness of an object, and also apply force on the surface. So the only difference in this microscope is the finger here is in nanoscale. So by using this technique, we study how powerful the spores are. So after we get the result, we were surprised. They are much better than all the existing ice shelter and artificial muscles. So for example, here is the energy. What the y-axis here is the energy density. So what's the energy density? Energy density tells us for given volume of the material, what's the maximal energy this material can generate. It's just like the power density of how we evaluate for batteries. And from this figure, you can see our human muscle is right here. It's not that bad. Human muscle can expand a lot. Piezoceramics is right here. Before, the world record was the shape memory alloy. Spore is about 10 to 100 times better than the shape memory alloy. So what does this number mean? I can give a simple example. For example, if we have a 1 pound of dry spore with only moisture or water, we can leave a car 1 meter above ground. They are super powerful. Okay, this is amazing material to work with. But the things that they are so tiny, they are in micro scale. So they are too small for any practical applications. So we need to scale them up. And to do this, we simply deposit spore on a thin plastic film. And similar to the latex rubber sheet, you can see when we alternate humidity level, the film can curve like this. If we connect this film in series, we can get linear motion at both ends of the film. You can see right here. And if we package them together, they can lift heavy weight. Actually, by using this technique, MIT Media Labs has developed some functional arts. So for example, here is a smart skin. You can see the structure. So if we are swelling, the structure of the skin can open and cool our body temperature down. And also, you can see some lamp cover here. When the light is on, the temperature will go up. The humidity will go down. This structure will open and light passing through. And also, you can see some artificial flowers. But okay, back to our question. How can we harvest energy from evaporation by using these materials, right? Actually, humidity doesn't change a lot during the daytime. So humidity usually changes in daily or seasonal scale. For example, the humidity in winter and summer is different. Maybe in the morning and afternoon is different. But evaporation happens all the time. How can we continuously harvest this energy from evaporation? So we have two strategies. The first one is we can use part of the energy generated by the artificial muscle to control a shutter system to alternate the local humidity fast. It's similar to the engine of a car. The engine uses part of energy generated by the gas to control the ignition system. So we have this kind of oscillator engine. After we have the mechanical energy, we can do whatever we want. Definitely, we can generate some electricity, right? And here we connect our engine to a small Lego generator. It's a toy, and you can see when we have some water right here. When the water is evaporating in the atmosphere, the energy, the energy produced is enough to light the LED. And we have another strategy is, for example, we can use part of the energy generated by the muscle to move them in and outside of the high humid zone. So for example, here, the left part is humid, and the muscle right here will extend. The right part is dry, the muscle will contract, right? And the shift in the center of mass will create a torque to rotate the wheel continuously. So by using this method, we have this rotary engine. Now we have two toys. Yeah, many people say it's only a toy. So the question is, the key question for the renewable energy is how much you can generate. What's the efficiency? Right? Let's talk about how much energy we can harvest from evaporation. I think this is the most important thing. And let's take a look at the energy budget on our planet. You can see we got radiation from the sunlight. And actually, half of the radiation absorbed by the Earth's surface is used to power the evaporation. It is about 80 watt per meter square. This is not a small number, it's huge. So what's the current solar farm in California? What's the number for the current solar farm in California? It is about 8 watt per meter square. And definitely, we cannot harvest 100% of this kind of 80 watt per meter square. So we did some simulation based on the real weather data in America in the past 3 years. We simulated how much energy we can harvest. So for example, in California, we can harvest about 9 watt per meter square. New York is a little bit lower, it's about 2 or 3 watt per meter square. If we compare this number to the current solar and wind power plant, so they are on the same level. But our technique, the price of our technique can be 100 times cheaper. Okay, the power is okay, but many people said, your technique are using lots of water. Water is super important for us. Your technique is so bad. Actually, it is not correct. We can save lots of water because, for example, if you have a water reservoir or a river, evaporation will happen anyway. After we put engine on the top surface water, we can slow down the evaporation rate. So in this case, we can save lots of water. For example, in California, I can give an example. In California, we can save about 6 millimeters of water per day. It's a lot. And I think many people remember this. I think about 3 years ago, Los Angeles has put lots of these kind of floating ball on the top surface water to prevent evaporation. Actually, our engine can do the exactly same thing, but can also generate some power. And before the end of my talk, I want to show you the first toy car driven by the evaporation. So here we simply put our engine a small Lego car, and the power is enough to move the car forward. And here, the active material we use is only about 3 milligrams. It's tiny. So finally, I want to thank lots of people. So most of the work I present here was done when I was at Columbia as a postdoc, and Arthur Sahin, he was my postdoc advisor, and also we have collaborators from Loyola University and Harvard University, and also lots of students who were involved in this project. And also I want to thank Blavatnik Award who recognized my work. I have recently moved to a new research center, Advanced Science Research Center in CUNY. And okay, thanks for your attention.